Hi, Women's Bible Study leaders. I'm Tirza. You probably know my husband Aaron is one of the pastors at Faith West. I've been attending Faith Church since I was 3 years old, and I've been a member for more than 25 years. Just in case you didn't know me already, but I know many of you do. I want to just give a little introduction here to explain kind of what's going on with Women's Bible Studies and the reason for looking at this new resource vetting process since we didn't get to have a meeting in the fall. So just to make sure we're all on the same page. And of course, I welcome your feedback on that. I want to first just thank you so much, each of you. I've just been praying for you over this last year as I've been stepping in for Jocelyn as she serves her family better by stepping away from this position. And I have stepped in about a year ago. And I'm just so thankful, having grown up here at this church, at just how the women's Bible studies have been consistently a place for women to go to, not only to study God's word and know God's word more, but also to be known, to form deep relationships, and that life on life. And that is certainly the number one goal for women's Bible studies is to be able to form those relationships so that we can really connect. How does God's word connect to my life, and what does it really look like? How do I apply it? How do I live what I'm learning, not only in my Bible study, but in many other capacities? So I just really want to thank you. This past year has been like no other in the history of our church. And I know that we want to continue what the Women's Bible Studies is already doing with excellence in terms of connecting with women. And I'm just so grateful for each of you ladies and the way that you're investing in these women. You're loving them, you're getting to know them. And I think that already is the reputation of the Women's Bible Studies. And I'm excited for how that will continue going forward. So here's kind of concerning the future direction of Women's Bible Studies. I know we've been going through a little bit of a shift in terms of having some accountability through the coordinators. And I really want to thank you for that, because I know that's been a big change of having a reporting, if you will, for each of you as leaders to report to your coordinator. And I just want to make sure that we're on the same page in saying that the purpose of that is not, the goal is not to limit you or make your lives more difficult, but the purpose is really thinking of the future. So it's not even necessarily about you specific leaders right now. It's more thinking toward who are going to be the women coming into your position in 5 years, in 10 years, in the future, Lord willing. And knowing that we don't want leaders to feel isolated and leaders to feel like they have to know all the answers. I kind of think about women's Bible study leaders like primary care doctors. I just think of when you go to a really good primary care doctor, it's not that they know absolutely everything about absolutely everything, but in fact, in my experience, a really good primary care doctor says, you know what, let's go get you connected to the next resource that may be more specific to what you've just shared with us. So the goal of having these coordinators, and I'm thankful for the feedback and the way that you ladies have been flexible with that, that the goal of that is to have a structure in place for Bible study leaders to have a resource of when they have questions, when you have questions and you want to know, what might be the next step, or how might I handle the situation, or, having a framework in place so that, so for you ladies, so that you don't feel like you're making decisions in isolation. And again, it's almost not even thinking about you personally, but thinking about the next generation of women's Bible study leaders that, Lord willing, will come after you. So along the lines of introducing why we're having this new vetting process, this has come from feedback from you in hearing that there's a lot of question marks of, well, what resources um, should we be using, and kind of how do I know which resources are available and kind of acceptable, and just realizing we just haven't had a good place, or maybe a formal is the right way of saying that, a more formal place in play, and just wanting to be really wise with that. So in the next video, I'm going to kind of go through that steps of kind of looking at the resources that are available. And what I want to say before getting into that is just that our goal is really to work with you and be flexible. So even in the timeline of when are we starting this new vetting process, it's going to be flexible. And I really encourage conversations between you and your coordinator, as well as to myself directly if you would like. And we're going to the goal is to kind of soft launch this over the 25 to 26 school year, fall and spring. But it's my goal is not to make your lives more difficult. And again, this is something that you don't have to be a part of, but what I would love to invite you and welcome you to join that. So thank you, ladies.